And he'd be coming with us with a tour and going to Waterloo, Yeah. So my name is Angela Carleton. I'm chair of Friends of Feltham Green. I've been a resident of Feltham since 1988, and I'm a member of the Feltham History Group as well. I'd just like to say thank you very much for everybody coming today, especially Paula Aldrich. Where is she? There she is. Southwest Around. That has all helped organise this, which is much appreciated. And we've got our mayor, a newly elected mayor, Karen. And I would like to say thank you to Seema for coming along, our MP of Parliament, which is absolutely amazing. She supports us greatly, and we wouldn't be here, obviously, if it wasn't for the residents of Feltham. Yay! The community of Feltham. And
hang on, this lady is the overseer of Feltham, okay? You will take on any role in the day and see them off. That's what I do as I told you.
Yeah, and of course our volunteers, you know, we wouldn't be able to do anything without them, sort of thing today. So we're going to start the tour. I've integrated, I've been doing tours, Freddie Mercury wine tours for the last 4 years. Large numbers have been coming worldwide, and I'd just like to say to Eliza, who has come all the way from Hong Kong, and she comes and visits George, and she helps paint the gold star on the ground of the memorial.
Who wouldn't come and visit George?
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. Right, so if we can walk this way.
I don't need the microphone.
No, you've got loud enough mouth, yeah.
I just want to, really thank you all for coming today. The sun's shining, so we couldn't ask anything better. A massive thank you to Angela for working with us on this. It's going to be a fantastic day. A thank you to Michael, who's over there from the Community Rail Partnership, who looks after this area. And also, we want to see you back at Waterloo, so please come back on the train. We've got a silent disco, all Queen related, and we've got a wonderful young man who's going to be singing lovely Queen songs with hopefully a bit of a backup from the SWL choir. So please come and listen to us later on when you finish the tour to complete your day. So all have a lovely day, and I hopefully will see you all at Waterloo later on. So thank you very much for coming.
Together, if you do become ill, or you want to leave the group, just let me or one of the volunteers know. There is a first aider, so hopefully will be needed, but just in case. At Zoroastrian House, which is our third stop, there is toilets and refreshments, so you're very welcome. Usually I do a little bit longer about Feltham Pond and the ponds, but because we need to be at Feltham train station at 3 o'clock, I'm just going to be touching on a little bit of Feltham history, even though there is so much of it. Feltham is mentioned in the Domesday Book, and Feltham means, there's two depictions of the name, means settlement in a field, Feltham. The other depiction, the Anglo-Saxon, is the home of the great malleon. Now the great malleon is a flower, and the leaves are very felty, very soft and felty. So that's the felty that we get our name from. And with Feltham Arts, we created the mosaics along the war memorial on this side of the great malleon. On the 24th of September 2009, the Freddie Mercury Memorial was unveiled by Brian May, Jer and Kashmira Bulsara in the town centre to celebrate the famous artist who once lived in Feltham, which was designed by Ken Davis, who now lives in the USA. Unfortunately, due to company who made it went bust, so the final coating to protect the stone wasn't added. It deteriorated quickly and no one wanted to take responsibility of it. So it was relocated here on the other side of the high street, a much smaller and plainer memorial, which was not fitting memorial to such a great entertainer, songwriter, musician and resident of Feltham. Through my interventions and working with House of Council and company that did the new pavement along the high street, a granite stone base was created around the memorial. Plus now through the work of 20 and Green Space 360, obtaining funding and donations from fans UK and worldwide. There is now plans of a memorial garden which will fill the section around the memorial, and I'm quite delighted to say that once our little eco cabin is being built, which will be the Friends Group headquarters and whatever the community wants it to be, then the memorial garden will be done. So working with Kashmira's 100% backing us, and it will be not only a memorial for Freddie Mercury, but there will be plants that Jer and Bommy loved, which they had in their garden in 22 Glaston Avenue. That will be incorporated in the garden as well. All the little pins and fridge magnets and postcards, donations through worldwide and everybody sort of thing, every penny will come here to maintain this area, which is absolutely amazing. Like I said, without you guys and people worldwide, we wouldn't be able to achieve such wonderful things. And to correct that wrong, that's what mainly pushed me, was to correct that wrong for Freddie. So thank you. If you want to take a quick photograph and then we follow up. Toilets or have a bottle of water, then please help yourself. So please follow me. Thank you.
Did they do the plant at the front of the station? Because it was a religious group.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I used to do that.
This side, nothing there. Toilets this side. If you, it's up to you, up to you. Toilets this side, if you wish to go, otherwise that side, please. Toilets this side.
Please help yourself with some water.
Thank you.
Five was religious. Members are going to their funerals and whatever sort of thing, you know. So Armstrong was very, very generous. Now she's going forward to do a talk with you, otherwise we wouldn't very interesting. It really is very interesting. So, if you want to come in, please, come on. Yeah. Bottle of water there, if you wish. If you want to start. You can start whenever you want on TV.
Religion is our smallest religions. It is based on the teachings of the Avesta and the Iranian prophet Zoroaster. In Zoroastrianism, our master is the beginning and the end, the creator of everything that can and cannot be seen, the eternal and uncreated, the all-good and source of Asha, truthfulness and righteousness. In the Gathas, the most sacred text of Zoroastrians, thought to have been composed by Zoroaster himself, acknowledges the highest devotion to our Mazda. The motto of our faith is good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. A little about WZO. WZO story starts back in 1980. The World Zoroastrian Organization is an international organization created to support Zoroastrians all over the world with aid, education, community, and advocacy. The WZO raise funds to support wherever and whenever financial aid is needed. WZO aims to be the main forward-facing Zoroastrian organization when it comes to educating the general public about Zoroastrianism. Through our connections in media, business, politics, education, diplomacy, interfaith, and more, the WZO work to make Zoroastrians are represented accurately and our voices become part of the conversation. We are gathered here today to pay homage and remember Freddie Mercury. And I could not think of a better place than WZO, especially in Feltham, where Freddie grew up. The life of Freddie Balsara began on the East African island of Zanzibar on September 5, 1946. 25 years later in London, under the name of Freddie Mercury, he was fronting the now legendary rock group named Queen. The son of Bomi and Jared Balsara, Freddie spent the bulk of his childhood in India, where he attended St. Peter's boarding school. He began taking piano lessons at the age of 7. No one could foresee where a love of music would take him. The Balsara family moved to the Middlesex in 1964. And from there, Freddie joined up with a blues band called Wreckage, while studying graphic designing courses at Ealing College of Art. While singing for Wreckage, a fellow student introduced Freddie to Roger Taylor and Brian May, founder members of a band called Smile. Smile later transformed to Queen. When Freddie joined Roger and Brian as the lead vocalist, EMI Records and Electro Records signed the band, and in 1973, their debut album Queen was released and hailed as one of the most exciting developments ever in rock music. The Immortal Styles Bohemian Rhapsody was released in 1975 and proceeded to the top of the UK charts for 9 weeks, a song that was nearly never released due to its length and unusual style, but which Freddie insisted would be played and became instantly recognizable. Hit. Very soon, Queen's popularity extended beyond the shores of the UK as they triumphed around Europe, Japan, and USA, where in 1979, they topped the charts with Freddie's song, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. In October 1977, the sellout of audience of charity gala at the London Colosseum, organized by the Royal Ballet Principal Dance Wayne Eagling, received the surprise of an unannounced appearance by a silver-sequined leotard-clad Freddie, performing an intricate routine choreographed by him. On November 24, 1991, Freddie's struggle against AIDS ended when he passed away just over 24 hours after he had publicly announced he had the disease. Musicians and fans from all over the world paid their highest respects at the passing of the rock's most innovative, flamboyant, and ambassador signified the end of an era at the Freddie Mercury. Tribute concert at Wembley Stadium on July 20th, 1992, which gave birth to the Mercury Phoenix Trust, the AIDS charity set up in Freddie's memory by the remaining members of Queen and Freddie's executor, Jim Beach, which continues in its good work to fight against AIDS, and one should support it. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and let's continue our walk. I would like you all to come up to the prayer room. Yes, we're going to go upstairs. Yes. It's on the first floor. People who want to use the lift, there is a lift, and people who would like to come up the steps, it's most welcome.
Is it this one, number 6?
Might be something we can explore. Okay, is that everybody? Thank you. Just want to say, Brian and Freddie didn't realise how close they lived together until they actually got together to form Smile. Howard May and his wife Ruth moved to Feltham after the war. Howard, electronic engineer, served in the Royal Air Force, where he met Ruth, who was serving in the Women's Royal Air Force. Brian was born in Hampton Hill, but moved to Feltham at number 6 Walsham Road. This is where the red, or the old lady Brian fondly named, the electric guitar that himself and Dad made out of anything they could lay their hands on. It got its name Red due to the wood it was made of. The neck was made of an old fireplace. The hand-carved fret made from mother-of-pearl buttons. Tremolo arm was a bicycle saddlebag holder, topped off with one of Mum's knitting needles. The workshop is where Howard made and created all his electronic appliances, which included the family's TV. Brian played the Red at Buckingham Palace, the national anthem for the Queen's on her Golden Jubilee. When Brian wish to purchase one, there's only 3 nurseries. Way's dog sleeps in Freddie's bedroom. 22 Glasson Avenue. Freddie worked at Heathrow Airport as a kitchen porter and a baggage handler, plus also at a company at the Feltham Trading Estate just up the road. At Ealing College, where he was introduced to the band Smile, which Brian was the guitarist and Roger Taylor on drums, which later they formed the Queen in 1969 when Smile split up. Mrs May and Mrs Bossara was best of friends. The Blue Heritage plaque was unveiled by Brian May and Kashmir Bossara on 1st of September 2016. Just chucking everything now. Just put these in order one day. Here we go. Okay. Just like Brian May's residence, I've put together a few will make you laugh. Bossara were a friendly family and integrated easily into the Glaston community. Freddie was always very generous, buying cakes, flowers for some of the neighbours when he visited his parents. It was obvious when Freddie was visiting, as his chauffeur-driven car was seen in the road. Bossaras must have liked the house area. Why else would they have remained for such a long time? Particularly when Queen became famous and Freddie could have bought his parents an alternative property anywhere they wished. In fact, Bommy, Freddie's father, told one of the neighbouring families very early in their residence that he wanted to create a typical English rose garden. Slowly but surely this became to fruition and was maintained miraculously. It was still present when they finally moved out in 1996. Unfortunately, none of the rose gardens remained due to changes made from the previous owners. One other story from one of the neighbouring families proved to be a constant talking point between them and the Borsaras. Occasionally they would go to the Borsaras for a Saturday evening meal. Two families down Glaston Avenue fondly remember the Borsara family when they moved there in the early mid-1960s. They remained in contact with the German Bommy and Kashmira even after they finally moved to Nottingham in 1996. On this particular occasion there was an overseas Queen fan, although it was known at this time that she was a fan. Standing outside number 22, when the Borsaras opened the door, they invited all in, including the fan. However, the Borsaras thought the girl was with the visiting family, and the visiting family thought she had been invited by the Borsaras. There was an awkward silence for a while before conversation started, and it was established that the girl was indeed a visiting Freddie Mercury fan. The Borsaras did not immediately ask her to leave, but spent a short time talking to her before saying their goodbyes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, can I just say that is the end of the tour, and I would like to say to every one of you, thank you ever so much for coming to Feltham and coming on the tour, and it's very much appreciated. And please go back and tell your friends and family, because I think personally Feltham has such a unique connection to Freddie and Brian May, and I would like to share it as much as possible. So thank you very much. May, would you like to say a few words with Elizabeth?
Well, I'm a bit lost for words now, so I brought out the cute dog to try and divert attention from yeah, but thank you for all coming to visit me at my quietly unassuming little house. I don't know who's put that up there. I think it might have been English Heritage, but it's the only thing that really distinguishes this house from any other house anywhere. But it's an honour to have it up there, it's all I can say, and I'm glad that I allowed it to happen. It went up in 2016, and I didn't realise until I actually looked through all my notes that was actually the 150th anniversary of the Blue Plaque scheme as well. Whether that was another one of these Freddie coincidences, I've got no idea. But I've tried to create some sort of gardening thing. In case you're really interested, this, and I can only blame the weather, this rose is one of the first time it's come out this year is a Freddie Mercury rose. And it's supposed to be as flamboyant as its namesake. So it starts off as a little yellowish bud and then comes out to this sort of slightly blousy yellow pink thing. So I suppose it lives up to its name. You can still buy them if you really want to go that far. I mean, it's obvious why I've got two of those rose bushes in there, but if you want them at home, then fine. And I think we're going to have...
Go on our website, it's got
Yeah.
the 3 nurseries.
Yeah, and I believe we're going to have one in the Freddie Mercury garden down
we're
there.
going to have a number of them.
Oh, good.
Kashmir's really
Good. Yeah. So really, I think it's really down to you to throw out questions at me and I'll see if I can answer them.
I understand, I don't know if I am wrong, and when you bought the house, you didn't even know it was the house. And the state agent was telling you, here was living a very famous person.
Yes and no. That's a bit of a non-answer. It was when I came for a second viewing, the estate agent just threw it into the conversation and said that this house has got some history. Foolishly, I asked what that was, and he mentioned the name, and then I thought, okay, fine. might be true, might not. Went back and had a look on the internet and really couldn't find very much on the internet. That's because of all the sort of past history and people wanted to keep things quiet. But within a year of moving in, it all became quite real, because that's when the BBC phoned up and said, we want to do a film for the one show for the parents to come back to their old house and sort of understand what Freddie was all about. And then obviously 2016, with that rather illustrious little blue plaque, but it's not little, should you really want to be bored by it all. That's the sort of size of it. It may not be so easy to tell from that, but that's the size of it.
Yes.
That's before it was installed.
Yes.
And they are lovingly handcrafted by a couple down in Cornwall who they've been working since about 1984, I think, with English Heritage. And if you go onto the English Heritage website, I think there is a link to the Ashworths, who are the people who make that. And they actually, there's bits in that sequence which show them making that plaque. So you are right. I didn't really know, and we were very cautious about whether we would allow things to go on, because we were a bit concerned about the history that was going on, and also perhaps the persistence from the fans. I have to say that the fans have proved me completely wrong. They are always invariably very respectful and will only encroach on the house without really too much trouble. You know, sometimes I don't mind them coming in. In theory, the law says that this is public property, so you can take pictures from here. But sometimes, for obvious reasons, they want to stand by the front door, and generally I don't mind that.
Right, okay, so if anybody wants to take last minute photographs, we need to get back to Feltham Station.
Could I suggest
What's that?
going back through Gleeblands rather than down the main road?
If you want to lead, way.
I'll go that way.
Thank you very much for
Well,
inviting me
I'll
to your house.
I'll get rid of the cute dog.
Yeah, thank you, May. Thank you ever so much. What's her name?
Amira. She was, in fact, originally was Elizabeth, because she was born
This side road was named Freddie Mercury Close to bring together the connection of the Bolsara family religion with World Zoroastrian Organisation Feltham. We've got a replica of this road sign, and we will be auctioning it this year to raise money. So if anybody wishes to put a bid in, there will be a site called Jumblebee, and we'll be auctioning the original. It's just a sample of exactly of that. So if you want to hang it up in your living room or in your garden, please feel free to bid, and that will be at the end of this year. Thank you. If you want a photograph, quick photograph beside it, please do.